Grace and peace from God the Father and from the Son Jesus be with all of you today as we meditate on the words of Jesus in Luke chapter 24 verse 51. While he was blessing them, he left and was taken up into heaven. Dear people of God, there is four major events in Jesus' life. If you can remember, I'll tell you, you're good Christians. Last week, or just last Thursday, we celebrated one of them, and I bet some of you could not remember. But it is in our calendar. And we are not celebrating the way it should be. And let's go through the four of them. The first one, we all know it's Christmas. Because we celebrate the day that Jesus was born to us to be our King. And then the second one was Good Friday, the day that Jesus died on the cross to save us from all sins. The third one is Easter, when Jesus was risen and he was resurrected and he won the devil, he won and he conquered eternal life for us. And the last one we just celebrated last Thursday. And I was, as Pastor was talking about Memorial Day tomorrow, I was just thinking about we are celebrating tomorrow and we are acknowledging actually the life of those who fight for freedom and for a better country. But Thursday, this past Thursday, we celebrate Jesus' ascension. Jesus going to heaven. And when we celebrate ascension, we remember that Jesus was winner. He conquered life to us. He went to heaven with his mission fulfilled. He went to heaven knowing that everything was done for you and for me. This is the day of ascension. And the reading, the verse 51 I just read for you, it is taken from Luke chapter 24, verses 44 to 53. It's a reading about the account of Jesus going up to heaven. We actually confess Jesus' ascension in two major confessions of faith. The first one is on Apostles' Creed. We always say he ascended into heaven. And the second one on Nicene Creed. And then the third day he rose again according to the Scriptures and ascended into heaven. So ascension is the fourth big celebration in church calendar. Ascension. Christ's mission is complete. He fulfilled the Scriptures from the beginning to the end. He won. He is now going to the Father. He left the disciples, his disciples, not with empty hands, or should I say, with empty hearts. I better say with not empty hearts, but with the promise of eternal life. As it was prophesied on the Psalm 68 verse 18, when you ascended on high, you took many captives. It means you took everything what would hold us on this earth with you. Now, as the same way you were taken to heaven, we will be as well one day. The ascension of Jesus is the proof that he has conquered all the enemies and that he reigns in heaven with the Father. The Apostle Paul, later on in his life, will write, he raised Christ from the dead and seated him at his right hand in the heavenly realms, far above all rule and authority, power and dominion, and every name that is invoked, not only in the present, not only in the present age, but also in the one to come, in our present. And God placed all things under his feet and appointed him to be head over everything for the church. This is what we call ascension. Jesus is up in heaven as our ruler, as our king, ruling over everything. But this is very important for us to know that Jesus ascended into heaven, but left something for us to think and for us to do. And I guess for us to do is the most important thing we should say today. The gospel gives us some important details about his last conversation with the disciples. Conversation that reveals, above all, Jesus' love for the humankind. Reveals that the only way that the love of Jesus will be known to all the nations, it will be through the beloved disciples. And after them, through all of those who love Jesus. Those who Jesus loved first. And now in return, we love him. And we spread the good news that he's not here in flesh anymore, but he should be in our hearts, in our minds. The mother goes to work and leave the children at home and expect the chores to be done when she comes back. The farmer works hard and waits for good weather condition. Good weather condition. I didn't know it would be hail yesterday when I wrote this part of the message. Good weather condition, so when he put the seeds on the ground, he expects them to produce fruits, but he needs to work so hard to let them happen. And God, Jesus, goes to heaven and tells the disciples important things, so when he comes back and he returns, the work needs to be done. The people need to preach Jesus, his love, because when he returns, he wants to judge the living and the dead. And he wants his gospel to be spread. And it was not a sad farewell according to the gospel. Jesus led his disciples to a little town called Bethany, the gospel says, on the Mount of Olives. This place that once was the place of betrayal and suffering for Jesus, and also for the beloved disciples, now is the place to see Jesus once betrayed, now in his glory. Once humiliated, now glorified, because was there when Jesus was taken to heaven. Jesus with his hands that once were pierced with nails, to now bless the disciples for the last time. And the Bible says, while Jesus was blessing the disciples, he was taken to heaven. Jesus is gone, but he did bless me. I betrayed Jesus, but he did bless me. Peter, my God. I doubted Jesus, but he blessed me. Maybe Thomas thought all that. You remember the stories of the disciples betraying and doubting Jesus. Jesus blessed his disciples because he loved them and because there is a mission to carry on. So Jesus blessed all of them and he is taken to heaven. Jesus bless you and me, poor sinners. Jesus bless you and me, even though our weaknesses and sometimes our fragility, our weaknesses on being a good Christians or keeping as good Christians. Jesus bless us even though that we are sinners and sometimes we cannot do and we don't do what he expects us to do. But after his departure, they all went to the temple, the Bible says, and rejoiced because of the words of Jesus and because of the great promise it was delivered to them in that day. Jesus now is the ruler of everything. We have work to do. We are now responsible to carry on his mission. But above all, we all know that by the end, he will be with him. We will be with him. The disciples remained in Jerusalem because the Lord told them to stay there and wait for the day of Pentecost. And this is very close to the Pentecost day. But now he is there in heaven with the Father, ruling the universe. But he is also here with us through the baptism, through the Lord's Supper, through the Word that we read and listen every single Sunday. Jesus is alive. He is risen. He is coming back. And meanwhile, we have to be the ambassadors of his great love. Luke chapter 24, verse 48 says, "You are now witnesses of all things." This is what Jesus said before his departure. Witnesses of that they had seen and heard. So we have a lot to do. Jesus died on the cross for us. He paid for our sins, and he is preparing a room for all of us in heaven with him to live for the eternity. And I was just thinking, who else do I need to know to keep working and working hard for my church, for Jesus? Last Friday, when I was teaching the daycare kids about ascension, this past Friday, I asked them, if Jesus is not with us anymore, where he is, you don't need to know all the answers. They gave it to me. But I was glad some of them said, Jesus is in my heart. Jesus is in my heart. Yes, Jesus is now in my heart. He is in the Father with the Father. But he is in my heart. And that's why I am going to spread the good news of his love, his kindness, his suffering, his death on the cross for me and for you. The Bible says that once Jesus was taken to heaven, they stay in Jerusalem, worshiping God in the temple. And this is what we do. Meanwhile, Jesus is not coming back. We worship and we spread the good news of the salvation that comes only from Jesus and Jesus alone. Let's then witness the love of Jesus and be ready for his return. In his holy name. Amen.